Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline live in the BPTV studios in Bethel Park. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I got Chip Hayner with me and Smoking Jim Frazier. We thank you for watching us only on Comcast 7 in Bethel Park each time we're on. We appreciate that. And then you can also watch us, and we thank you for watching us on Verizon 32 everywhere. The city of Pittsburgh, Nemacolin, all the way to Cranberry and Wexford. Appreciate that. Now on Facebook, we announced, I think we were at 6,405. We've dropped to 6,401. I guess putting a lot of Steelers stuff up there and some of the Pirate defeats might have had a couple people withdraw from liking us, but we appreciate you liking us on Facebook there. So thank you very much. And we start our show with What's on Your Mind. I'm going to start that right now. Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
There you go.
you got to see Levine.
Look like Roethlisberger.
Yeah. All game long.
Big fan.
The Hayward Bay.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
And Wheaton.
everybody, not to start off, but Arnold Palmer's death is really, really affecting me more than I
I saved
thought.
that
You
in church as
saved
well.
that,
Yeah,
and,
I have that.
I've been looking through a lot of reading material that they had on Arnold.
Well, they got pictures there too, so that's a bonus.
I've been looking, and what a great man, and I know he was very good friends with Antonio Brown.
Who
But
just
what's
met
on
him. Who just met him. Smoking Jim, you can't be slipping that stuff in there.
But what's on my mind is the
I can't wait.
Pittsburgh Sportsline Team of the Week. We do it every week, and I got some honorable mentions.
Can't possibly guess what that team is going to be. But I'll let Jim share his surprise.
Honorable mention Team of the Week has to go to Newcastle. North Catholic, 50-13 win over Avonworth, and Mike Tomlin and Joey Porter's sons both caught touchdown passes in that game. Congratulations there. Another honorable mention has to go to Bethel Park's 48-13 win over Henfield, and senior running back Teron Murphy, 177 yards rushing, only 9 carries, 2 touchdowns. And a bonus honorable mention has to go to Seneca Valley's 32-7 stomping of Penn Hills. We all enjoyed that.
Jason Gilden's team?
Jason Gilden's North Catholic.
Okay, my bad.
Mike Tomlin and Joey Porter's son, and any other Steelers son can play for Jason Gilden. And so far it's working because he won't get his sack record broken by Harrison. They won't allow that to happen as long as he keeps playing their kids. Team of the week.
Thanks for those little insights. They come out of nowhere.
What's
next?
Team of the week. And it's a unanimous vote.
What a shock.
Penn Trafford, number 1 team in the state, undefeated team in the state. Their last loss was in the WPIL championship to Central Catholic on the big stage, but Gateway blew out Penn Trafford 23-6. Junior quarterback Brady Walker, 225 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. And we move right on to the Pittsburgh Sportsline Player of the Week. And we're looking at a sponsor for these awards that we can send out to the kids. Anybody wants to put their name alongside with Pittsburgh
Explain
Sportsline.
who they got to do it with.
So the runner-up Player of the Week this week ran for a WPIL record 492 yards and 6 touchdowns. He has 1,856 yards and 22 touchdowns in only 6 games. Zane Dudak from Armstrong. They won 58-28 over Plum, who drops to 0-5. One of the reasons Zane will never win Pittsburgh Sportsline Player of the Week again is because they beat Gateway. So
Gateway had a loss.
So the best he can ever do is be a runner-up. But hopefully Gateway will see him again in the playoffs. Pittsburgh Sportsline Player of the Week
goes
to running back Quentin Hill from Thomas Jefferson High School in their 55-14 win over Ringgold. He ran for 229 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he's your Player of the Week. He was only 300 yards behind Zane, but he's and 1 touchdown behind, but he's deserving of the award.
I actually saw part of the second half of that game on one of the stations.
Did he look
usually
good?
Have a high school. Oh, TJ looked good.
Thanks for your vote.
TJ looked good.
We don't have a vote in it. This is you. It was unanimous. You're the only one voting.
A majority of 1.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. We appreciate that. It's a great segment. Gets the word out on different schools. And I just have a question. Where's Frazier at?
Frazier,
Very
I got it. You mean what area?
No.
Oh,
this season.
Oh, okay.
You knew what I meant.
Okay. I know they.
I knew where it was. You didn't know where it was.
I know they at least lost 1 game.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we spray the entire campus. I know where it is.
Okay. So we may have a Frazier sighting next week.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, usually when Good Karma and you talk them up.
Next time I'm down there, I'll take a picture of it and send it to you.
That would be nice. Get a road sign. Get a picture of a road sign.
Yeah.
For him.
There's a nice big replica of them on the side of the building.
I might have to get a team jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
Oh, thank you, Alan, and good evening, everybody. What's on my mind this week is a little bit more on a national note, not a local note. Yesterday, the Supreme Court decided not to hear the appeal of the Ed O'Bannon case, which, to refresh everybody's memory about the Ed O'Bannon case, Ed O'Bannon, a star basketball player for UCLA, sued the NCAA because the NCAA was using his likeness in marketing, and he felt that the players deserved to be paid. And the result of the initial case was that it was determined that the NCAA using a player's likeness did break the antitrust laws, and that there was a stipulation that the universities could play a player up to $5,000 per season at the school's discretion, which would have been put in like an escrow fund for them, which wouldn't have been paying. And the U.S. Supreme Court will not hear that case or hear the appeal. The court also rejected O'Bannon's separate appeal that called on the justices to reinstate a plan for schools to pay football and basketball players for uses of their names, images, and likenesses. It means the status quo has been preserved. In comments made, while we are disappointed with this decision not to review the case, we remain pleased that the Ninth Circuit Court agreed with us that amateurism is an essential component of college sports and that NCAA members should not be forced by the courts to provide benefits untethered to education, including providing any payments beyond the full cost of attendance. And the reason why this is on my mind, and I know that the gentleman to my left is going to argue quite vehemently against my point of view on this.
He stopped eating.
But here's the thing. Why should a player that goes to a college to get an education be paid for playing on the football team, basketball team? Because here's what the deal is. Most of these players are getting full rides, which means their scholarship or their tuition is being paid, their books are being paid, they're given meal money, and they're given housing on campus. Now, just figure out the cost of a 4-year education at one of these higher levels of learning, and it runs well into the 6 figures. So, the players, by going to school, not only are getting an education which will benefit for them down the road once their playing career is over, they're They get free housing. They get free education. So why should you be paid extra for something that you're already being compensated for? To me, that's double dipping. I don't feel that the players deserve to be paid for playing in these games. They have an option. Hey, they could pay their own way, and
refuse the scholarship.
And refuse the scholarship, and find out what it's like for the rest of the people that have to take out student loans and spend the rest of their life trying to pay off student loans, even after they get a job, a well-paying job. They spend 15 or 20 years paying off the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they've taken out in student loans. So, thumbs up to the decision of the Supreme Court not to hear the appeal, and I'm sure it's going to stay in litigation from now until the end of time, because that's what attorneys do. That's how they get paid. But I couldn't agree more with their decision not to review it. That's what's on my mind. And I did that when he had a mouthful.
Chip, thanks for that. Very insightful and getting that ruling right now. So appreciate it. All right, what's on my mind? Since Smoking Jim almost choked on that pizza, Olive Oil's Pizzeria did it again. Just fantastic. They're at Hillcrest Shopping Center, 3 minutes away from the studio here, so it's a nice trip bringing that pizza and steak hoagie here.
Piping hot.
412-831-1900. Give them a call. Tell Zach, Jay, you want to order a pizza. They got their special medium pizza with one topping, $4.99. So a lot of good stuff going on there.
Make mine a double.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Get two. Then we have the Joey Childhood Cancer Foundation, Joey Fabus Cancer Foundation. We always say Joey's strong there. We believe in him, and the foundation has a Halloween party coming up on the 22nd. Details will be out there, and just a good cause. Give $1. Go online. Check out the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Poor kid got diagnosed with it, and he was dead before his 9th birthday, and it affects lots of kids in the area and across the country. So they're donating the money. All the money goes to the doctors to research finding what causes it and how to cure it. So it's a good cause. Then I know I bring this up all the time about different groups and grant money. There's grant money out there for my friends here as they get their group together to help kids in their activities, from $100 to $5,000. It's available. Go to bpcf.org. Check it out. They have stuff going on. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has an event coming up in November, the Bethel Bounty, where they have over 300 tickets for people to buy, and then you eat food. They bring in people from restaurants all over the area to feed you, and it's a great event, and they raise a lot of money there to help donate to the people in the community with these groups and organizations. So another great cause out there. Check it out. All right, I know what's on my mind. The Steelers. It was terrible the week before. Carson Wentz in Philadelphia stuck it to us. Just ridiculous. 34-3. We looked terrible. Well, Sunday Night Football in the Steeler game, and the Steelers' record after a loss is they win every time. So they did win it. 4 touchdowns the first half. Receivers stepped up. Big Ben was tossing the ball. Nice arc on the ball. And when he had to whip it in there, he did. And they went for a 2-point conversion on the first touchdown. Wheaton caught the ball, so he was off to the races. And they just played. The defense played a great game, shut them out till the fourth quarter. Just an awesome performance. It's nice to be a Steeler fan. We're going to the Super Bowl like Smoking Jim predicted. How can we not? And that's what's on my mind. All right, we go to our segments that Chip and Jim have and I have, and we're going to go to Smoking Jim Frazier's Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac.
I tell you what, I started off on a sad note with Arnold Palmer, and it continues.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Continues to get sad with Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Darrelle Revis is done. He couldn't cover Marcus Wheaton right now. I don't know if Revis can move to safety, but as far as a cornerback is concerned, and sometimes it leaves you very quickly. He's done. I'm glad he's not coming here to Pittsburgh to play because he would get embarrassed here in his hometown. But it reminds me of 2004. I shared this story with you guys before. I'll share it again.
All right.
When we were on a big stage, and here's some of the people that we had on the TV stage that particular night. We had Neil Walker on that stage in 2004. We had Adam DeMichael from
Stone Rocks, yeah.
Went to Temple and did a great job on that stage. Eugene Jarvis, two-time state champion running back, ended up going to Toledo or Akron, did it to Kent State, matter of fact. All-time
one of
leading
those
rusher.
three.
The all-time leading rusher there. Everybody in the world knows this name. Justin King from Gateway was on that stage that night. Coach Terry Smith, assistant head coach at Penn State, was on that stage. We had a Central Catholic coach who's now North Allegany's coach. Coach Art Walker was on that stage that night. Andrew Johnson, maybe the fastest guy in the history of Western Pennsylvania, two-time state 100-meter dash champ, went to University of Miami to play football. Went to be a star but didn't get far. Morty Ivy, friend of the show.
Yeah.
All-state player.
Where's he coaching now?
Was on that stage. He's coaching at his alma mater, Gateway. Tony Morelli, the number 2 player in the nation that year.
Penn Hills.
From a school near Gateway. Was on that stage. And Devin Lyons, Wes Lyons' older brother who signed with Ohio State, was on that stage. And I remember like yesterday, I walked up to a relatively unknown player on that great stage. You have great players everywhere. And Darrell Revis didn't move back to Aliquippa to his junior year. Only played football to stay in shape for basketball. Great basketball player. Averaged 25 points a game as a junior and a senior. And I looked at his forearms and I looked at him and I walked over to him and I predicted, I said, you will play in the National Football League one day. And of course, at that time, he was leaning towards basketball. They ended up naming the island after him, Revis Island. I think he's a first-team Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. I remember, and this guy's probably the greatest negotiator. Maybe he read the book, The Art of the Deal, because he's one of the greatest negotiators you ever want to. I remember the first time he held out for more money. He's always been highest paid guy in the NFL.
Do you think that his lack of performance on the field this year could be related to the bum hamstring he has right now?
No, he's just a bum. But
There you go.
I remember me and the show.
You can say the name of the show.
Yeah, the show, Kimborough, Vaquan Kimborough. We're at
The great boxer.
we was at the casino in September, the Rivers Casino, and Revis shows up with Vaquan with his hoodie on because he's holding out and didn't want people to recognize him. And after about 5 minutes, I look at him. I says, Revis, nobody knows who you are here, man. Take the hoodie off because if you're in Pittsburgh and you don't play for the Steelers, they don't recognize you. You know, if New York, you get mobbed, other cities. But Pittsburgh, Curtis Morton can walk down one side of the street at 14,000 career yards. Jerome Bettis get mobbed on the other side of the street at 13,000. Even though this is Curtis Morton's hometown, nobody knows what those guys look like outside of their
You are
their
tossing
helmet.
the facts out there like crazy.
So that's it. It's a sad day. I know they'll be upset with me at Aliquippa, and I'll be on Aliquippa sidelines on Friday for the big game. But that's my fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. It was probably the greatest night of all those. It's probably 2004 is maybe the best year in the last 20 years of athletes coming out of high school.
Wow.
All of them
and then being
Good
on
stuff,
that show.
Good stuff.
Very good. Thanks for sharing that,
You're
Smoking
welcome,
Jim.
sir.
I appreciate most of the facts there. You did get that in there. That's a good thing. All right, let's go to Chip Hayner's trivia time.
Well, thank you, Alan. And first on my trivia, I would like to make note of a truly remarkable man, a man who has held the same position for the last 80 years.
Wow.
Okay, then the Pirates season ended disappointingly this year.
For some.
But I'd like to make note of a certain Phil Coyne. And Phil Coyne, many of you may not know. If you have been going to a lot of Pirate games, you know who Phil Coyne is. Phil Coyne is 98 years old, and he just completed his 80th season as an usher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He started as an usher in 1936 at Forbes Field. This was so long ago that the Pirates outfield consisted of Paul and Lloyd Wainer.
Wow,
in
big
the
poison
first
and
year.
little poison.
He was 18 years old in 1936. He celebrated his 98th birthday this year. And according to this article that I have here on my phone,
Whoa.
he's going to see how he feels in April, and he may be back next year for his 81st season.
That's amazing.
You know, and I bring this up because my wife and I are season ticket holders. We go to, multiple games every year. And one of the first things we do each and every season when we get to come down to PNC Park is we look for Phil.
Nice.
He's an usher in sections 26 and 27.
Really?
And he is one of the nicest gentlemen that you would ever want to meet. And Stephanie, for the last 5 years, every time that he would miss a game, she would wonder if
Something happened.
if he had passed. And I saw this article yesterday, and I tagged my wife on Facebook with it, and she was so happy to see that, and it made her smile because I'll tell you what, if that is not the epitome of loyalty to a local team, I'd like you to show me another example. Yeah. So that's my first bit of trivia. I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. Phil, I hope to see you next year. I hope to see you next year. God bless you, and stay warm this winter, will you? So last week I brought up some trivia, and I named 3 Pirates pitchers that had won 20 games. I stand corrected. There were actually 5.
That's what I thought.
Was
Okay.
Vernon Law one of them?
Vernon Law in
'Cause
1960.
I was going to ask you last
And
week.
none less than John the Candyman Candelaria in
That's it.
1977
Monroeville.
are also among Pirates who have won 20 games in a season. And the reason I brought that up, well, because I like to,
It's trivia.
it's facts. I just stick to the facts. I don't. This is the fiction, okay? And I'm the fact.
I can't believe you put it right on.
No, it's all in good fun. I respect that. I respect Jim a great deal.
Except when you
But
disagree.
also, who was the last Pirates pitcher to win the ERA title in Major League Baseball?
I have no idea.
And that would be John Candelaria in 1977 with a
Monroeville.
2.34 ERA. So I update my trivia from last week, so now we have
Nice.
actual factual material. You like that? Actual and factual?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's get more.
Earlier this season, Ichiro Suzuki, the hit king in baseball, became a member of the 3,000 hit club. There is a current player now that is closest to achieving this, and that could potentially, if he plays another year, achieve this feat next year. That player is Adrian Beltre. He is 63 hits shy before last Wednesday's game. So with approximately 60 base hits, he'll join the 3,000 hit club.
Wow.
It's an exclusive club. One of the greatest seasons in Major League Baseball history was a season that transpired before any of us were born. And I believe quite a number of accomplishments happened to that season. Both are events that I don't feel that will ever be repeated. First, Joe DiMaggio had his 56-game hitting streak, and I say that's a record that will never be broken. And Ted Williams on September 28th, 1941, went 6 for 8 in a doubleheader against the Philadelphia A's to finish the season at .406 batting average. No player has batted .400 since. And, you know, I like to see that he didn't try to protect it. You know, he played the first game of the doubleheader, had the 400, didn't sit out the last game. He played both games, 6 for 8.
He was batting .399 before he played the last 2 games.
Really?
There you go. Thank you, Alan.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that.
And also, you know, September 28th was also, you know, the twilight of Ted Williams' career, because in 1960, he played his final game, and in his final at-bat, Ted Williams hit a home run off of Baltimore's Jack Fisher. Ted Williams did not take a curtain call, but he trotted out the left field in the ninth and was replaced by Carroll Hardy and retired to a standing ovation. It was Ted Williams' 521st career home run. The Red Sox rallied to win 5-4, and I do believe that Ted Williams never did achieve the 3,000 hit plateau, and the reason why he didn't, because he served his country as an aviator in World War II, and he served his country as an aviator in the Korean War. And that is something that you will not see professional athletes do. There's Tillman, who did that, and then there's the offensive lineman for the Steelers, who did serve his country, but he didn't leave from playing a professional sport to go serve his country, and then come back and still perform at the highest level possible. So, you know, Ted Williams, we tip our hat to you, and you know, make note of both of those achievements. Now, I also, you know, like to bring up, you know, I got another one in here for the beginning of somebody's career to the end of somebody's career. Detroit's Al Kaline in 1955 on September 25th
from Detroit.
Became the youngest player to win the batting title, finishing his second season with a .340 average. Ty Cobb was 1 day older when he won the batting crown, batting .350 in 1907, also playing for Detroit. So, you know, 1955, Detroit's Al Kaline made a name for himself with this hitting title. In 1974, September the 24th, Detroit's Al Kaline doubled down the right field line off Dave McNally of the Baltimore Orioles for his 3,000th career hit. So over the course of 20 years, another gentleman made the club. Wow. Alan would make note of this. I'm sure he would remember it. Jim would wonder if I'd lost my mind. But the Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant. October the 3rd, 1951. Bobby Thompson hit the shot heard round the world, the second most famous home run in baseball history. The Giants overcame a 13-game deficit to win the Eastern Conference title. And Bobby Thompson hit the home run to win the game. That was October the 3rd, 1951. Bobby Thompson hit that homer off of Ralph Branca of the Brooklyn Dodgers with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th to give the Giants the win. Also a moment, like I said, the second greatest home run in baseball history. It was the greatest until a certain October 13th, 1960, and a certain Pirate second baseman connected.
We can't forget that.
And and that is coming up. Let me see. That will be, we'll cover that next week's show. So we'll get it. Now, you know, I like to pay tribute to one of the greatest players from the Negro Leagues and also in the major leagues, our dear friend Satchel Paige. And we don't know whether this is correct or not because nobody really he's kind of like Jim Frazier, you know. Nobody knew exactly how old he was. He'd never give up his birth date. But on September 25th, 1965, Satchel Paige, at age 60, became the oldest player in the majors, taking the mound for Kansas City and pitching 3 scoreless innings over the Boston Red Sox. He gave up 1 hit to Carl Yastrzemski. And Carl Yastrzemski, as you know, was a Triple Crown winner at one point for the Boston Red Sox.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what the Triple Crown is.
So I got a couple of Willie Mays pieces here because you cannot forget about Willie Mays, who I feel is probably one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player that ever played the game.
All around.
Willie Mays, on September the 29th, 1954, made the famous over-the-shoulder catch at the Polo Grounds in New York of Vic Wertz's long drive to center field. And pinch hitter Dusty Rhodes homered off of Bob Lemon to lead the Giants to a 5-2 victory over the Cleveland Indians in Game 1 of the World Series. And, oh, by the way, the Cleveland Indians got swept that year. So, why do I bring that up? Because guess who's back in the playoffs this year? The Cleveland Indians. And guess who's going to exit the playoffs this year? The Cleveland Indians. But I hope not before the Chicago Cubs. But that will remain to be seen. So, also, September 29th, 1963, Stan Musial ended his career going 2 for 3. The St. Louis Cardinals defeated the Reds at Busch Stadium. Stan Musial, Denora's own. Well, he's got a bridge named for him, but last weekend the Griffies had a street named for them.
Really?
Yes, they did. Ken Sr. and Ken Jr. Ken Jr. was born in Denora. Ken Sr. was a resident of Denora, PA. But, the interesting thing about Stan Musial, 3,630 hits. He had 1,815 from the right side of the plate, 1,815 from the left side of the plate.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, if that isn't consistency, I don't know what is. So, also, September the 25th, Willie Mays joined an exclusive club at the time that the only other member of was Ralph Kiner. Believe that? Yeah. Willie Mays hit 51 home runs in 1955, and he joined in 1965. And joined Ralph Kiner because Willie Mays also hit 50 home runs in 1955. So they were the only two people to have multiple 50 home run seasons.
Wow.
Thought that was worth mentioning. Give you a little bit of a Pirate update here. 1959, Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Pirates 5-4, putting an end to Elroy Face's 22-game winning streak. It was his only loss of the season. He finished with an 18-1 record. 4 of those victories carried over from the previous season. And I have to give my friend Jim a shot, and I will after I do this one. 1974, September 11th. It took the St. Louis Cardinals 25 innings, 7 hours, 4 minutes to beat the New York Mets. A record 202 batters went to the plate. That was an extra inning game.
How much? How many batters?
202 batters. Now, there's only 9 men in the lineup. Do the math.
Wow,
okay.
that's a lot.
And then also, the Degenerate Gambler. September 11th, 1985. The Degenerate Gambler, Pete Rose of the Cincinnati Reds, became the all-time hit leader with his 4,192nd hit to break Ty Cobb's record. It's a shame you gambled your way out of the Hall of Fame.
What year was that? Did he get
1985.
1985.
And you know what?
Best singles hitter in the world that'll never be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's what happens when you bet on the game.
Yeah.
That's my trivia for this week. But Phil Coyne, congratulations. Can you believe that? 80 years as an usher.
Amazing.
You know, Paul and Lloyd Wainer, Big and Little Poison were playing the outfield for the Pirates when he ushered his first game. Isn't that incredible?
I'll bet he has a few stories.
I'm sure he's got more than a few.
Definitely. Being an usher, they all got stories. I know plenty of ushers, so definitely. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Now we'll go to our Pittsburgh Sportsline on location. We were at Hollywood Lanes last night. Had a great cast of guests. We had the Western Pennsylvania Wildcats, who were on our show earlier in the year. They did something unusual. They grabbed our good karma that Smokin' Jim talks about being guests on the show, and we had mentioned it to them. They went undefeated. They're recognized as the #1 team in the United States right now. They won the PAFL, the Premier Football League or whatever that they're in. So they're challenged to playing a game in January or February. And I call it for the World Championship because what else could it be?
Yes,
we got
sir.
a World Series with teams. You're going to have them play somebody else, maybe a team from Detroit. So they were great guests last night. John Ray, congratulations to you and your team. And for everybody that come out there, we appreciate it. He brought a trophy, Chip, that was about 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
That they brought there. Just a fantastic trophy. And his rings just come in that day, so he was wearing the ring.
He was wearing the bling, huh?
Yeah, and it's a little bit of bling there. It has some weight to it.
Yeah.
So good luck to him. Thanks for coming out. And we had a great basketball player that's going to get inducted to the City League All-Star, or what, Hall of Fame?
Yes, sir.
Tamika, what's her last name?
Hunter.
Tamika Hunter. Okay. That's her married name.
Oh, her married name.
And just in case anybody
Miko.
wants to know, if you're interested in getting in the Pittsburgh City Hall of Fame, Jim is accepting bribes.
You can say that again.
But I'll do a disclaimer.
Say that again.
It doesn't work out well with it because they got a line of players that are wondering why they're not in.
That's true.
So
That
it's
is
just
true.
tremendous.
Money talks.
And you'll be doing that event, right? Isn't that coming up?
November 6th at the John
Hines?
Hines History Center. We expect over 500 people this year.
Sounds great.
It's not the same without Pittsburgh Sportsline in the house, though.
I understand that, but hey, life goes on. We do our best. But it was great having her on the show. She was a first-time guest, told us some great stories on how she even got started in basketball in 6th grade. Really? She wanted to be a swimmer, and her best friend at the time, can't mention her name, told her, "You can't swim." And she goes, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I see you in gym class and you can't swim. Go out for basketball." Best piece of advice she could got. She ended up parlaying that into a scholarship. She went to Westinghouse, did great there, got a scholarship to Pitt women's basketball team. So great story. One of her few stories there, so it was a pleasure. And we'll be next week at Atria's PNC Park. Our new time is 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, so be there, and we'll have our show then. So
Remember
see
that,
you
Jim.
then. Yeah, he's actually early, so
Get out of time.
yeah.
That's a first.
He's been there as early as
5 after?
7:15. 7:45. He arrives there fashionably on time. So, well, we got all the sports to talk about. I mentioned the Steelers in my what's on my mind, so why don't we just talk Steelers?
CP time.
Because it was just a shock on what the Steelers actually did. And it was just amazing. The defense played well. They just took it to them. It rained, and nobody could do anything during the rain. So it was just a great game.
The Steelers did do something. I was there at the game, and the thing that I was impressed with the most was the play of the defensive ends. Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt, they both played great games. Cam Hayward finished the night with 3 sacks, a couple of hurries, deflected a pass, and oh, by the way, there was a Jarvis Jones sighting. And, I'm sorry, Jarvis, you're just not fast enough when Alex Smith tackles you on the 4-yard line when you're trying to take it to the house. His eyes got big, and there was Alex
I don't
Smith.
know why he just didn't fall down. So.
If he had a little bit of extra speed, that little burst, maybe he could have just got right past him.
The burst got him to the ball. Chip, the burst got him the ball, and that was
But
it.
but the Steelers defense really did step up, and there's mentions being made that Artie Burns is actually leading the team in passes defensed, and I know Jim wasn't real thrilled with him as being a draft pick, but he doesn't look to be the bust that some of our more recent draft picks have been. Good. What are your thoughts?
Well, Artie's came out of school raw. He came out of school as a true junior. Only played 65% of the snaps at the University of Miami, but can't deny that speed. And it looks like he's, from all indications, look like he's going to turn into a good corner. And we need it. Hopefully, Gilbert that we got, that the Browns that go.
Justin, yeah.
If Justin Gilbert can also come around. And those guys are getting good coaching. Cornell Lake's a heck of a coach if you got something to work with.
Oh, yeah. Well,
But
go ahead.
Let's not get too excited because Steelers are giving up 317 yards passing a game, which is 30th in the league right now. So can't get too excited.
Well, Alan has always been one to bring this up. You remember Bob Prince's, the hidden vigorish. Now, this is one of the things I think that this week's game could be one of those trap games for us because you look at what the New York Jets have done recently. Now, you've got Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is a serviceable enough quarterback for, a mediocre team, but he's thrown 9 interceptions in the last 2 games. And the hidden vigorish that I'm talking about is
he got it out of the system.
Yeah, the more you play terrible football, the closer you get to having a good game. And is this going to be the week? sometimes the Steelers get up for a good team, and not so much for.
They play to the level of the competition.
And the Jets, by all rights and purposes, with the offense that we showed last week, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger was just money all night long. We should hang 40 points on them. Now, will that happen? I mean, we scored 3 one week, we scored 43 the next week. I'd like to think we're going to score somewhere in between the two, but I hope it's a lot closer to the 40 than it is the 3.
Well, I hope Tomlin sticks to what he called Sunday. His first interview before the game, he called it Redemption Sunday.
Wow.
They went over the films, and they told people we got to take it, and we're going to improve on it.
Wow.
Redemption Sunday.
No,
We need to stick with that.
No, they play the games on Sunday, and we shall see what we shall see. But Le'Veon Bell had quite a debut for this season.
Well, I've never quite seen he's head and shoulders better than any other running back in the league. Never seen a running back with that much patience. Best all-around running back I've seen since Roger Craig. Guy picks up blitzes, can catch, can be a wide receiver.
He played that position quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, he could be an all-pro wide receiver and got great size. And I just think it's a shame that he's in the randomly tested program because he doesn't deserve to be. He never would have failed a drug test. He just got pulled over in North Hills because a police officer seen some smoke coming out of the car. What's the chance of that? And that got
They
him.
do that in that community. They check for that.
Yeah, especially if you got tinted windows and so it's a real shame because I don't know if he could give it up. And the NFL doesn't want these guys to flunk drug tests. That's why they let them know in advance. He did everything right. He passed the test, but being that he got pulled over and got a DUI, DWI.
He
missed some
tests.
Here's the other thing, Jim.
Because he's in a random program.
Yeah, they let him know when the tests are, but not showing up for a test. I don't care if it's at 5 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're scheduled for a test, you show up on time. And I work in an environment where I can be randomly tested at any given time, and if I'm given the card to go to test and I don't show up, that's a positive test.
Yeah,
but the thing is with me is I don't get suspended. I get terminated.
Right. But the point I was trying to make, and you and Al Levine, the talking machine, made an excellent point. What I'm saying is he never would have been in that randomly tested system had it not been for him getting pulled over on his way to the airport. He would have always passed that set test when they say June 1st you're getting tested. He'd have been able to get off the weed for the 30 days like he's always done. But now that he got that DWI or whatever they call it, now he's in that randomly tested program.
Sometimes it's just, you're a victim of circumstance. Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. And,
driving while black.
I don't know about all that, Jim, but
That's an odd one.
But the Steelers look like they have they have fixed what's broken. So
for a week
on to the Jets, and we'll cover that game.
Yeah, for you
next Tuesday.
Steelers beat the Jets.
Does Geno Smith still got his mouth wired, or is it okay after he got punched in the mouth last year?
He's just riding the bench. He's just laying in waiting to make that rush to the Pro Bowl.
I don't know. He's make it,
I think he learned to keep his mouth shut because somebody stuffed a fist in it. That's why.
That happened too. Certain things educate him. Hey, we promised you Chip would give us an update on the Pirates season.
Yes.
There's no better time to do it than.
Is it over?
And I'll wrap it up.
Playoffs start tonight.
Pirates season's over this year. And the Pirates ended up at 78, 83, and 1, which was a huge disappointment after winning 98 games last year. And, you look at what were the causes of their decline this year. And, the obvious thing is the pitching. And when you look at the pitching, it was the starting pitching that was their downfall this year. And three names come to mind when I talk about major disappointments on the starting pitching staff. First, I'm going to go with Francisco Liriano, who could not find a way to get his fastball across the plate. Walked more batters than anybody else in baseball. Second one was Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole came into spring training with an injury and basically fought the injury bug all year. I don't believe that he was properly in condition for the season, was behind the 8 ball. I believe that he attempted to pitch and do the best he could at less than 100% this year, and it really hurt the team because the Pirates needed to have Liriano and Cole as their 1-2 starters this year for them to have success. They weren't, and subsequently we didn't. The third name that I would like to mention would be a trade that Neil Huntington wishes he never made, was for Jonathan Neese. Jonathan Neese was a dog with fleas. He gave up more. He was basically a batting practice pitcher. The Pirates' offense provided enough runs for him to win a handful of games, but he gave up more home runs in half a season than most pitchers give up in a year. And, fortunately, they cut bait with him and they went away. So, the starting pitching staff is part of the problem. The other major disappointment for the Pirates this year, I would have to say, would go to all three outfield positions. Now, you look at the three outfield positions, everybody said that the Pirates could potentially have one of the best outfields in baseball. McCutchen in center, who's won a Gold Glove in the past, has been in the MVP conversation year after year, had the worst season of his career, both offensively and defensively. Starling Marte, even though he had a high batting average, hit for no power this year, drove in very few runs, and fought the injury bug throughout the season. Spent the last month of the year on the bench with back spasms. Again, a disappointment. And then you had Gregory Polanco, who started off the year pretty hot, went through a hot streak in the summer. And, Gregory Polanco is a very young talent, and he does have the potential to be an amazing superstar in this league. He's a young man, and, this was probably the first full season he had as a starting position. And I think what we're going to see out of our outfield next year is much better play, and I think what these players have to do is better condition themselves to be able to make it through the season uninjured. Because when these guys were playing, and they were playing well, the Pirates were playing good baseball. They started off the season very, very well. And actually, through all the trials and tribulations from the season, come the end of August, we were only a half a game out of the wild card race. Then we went to Chicago, and we played in a 3-game series. And the first game was a 13-inning game that the Pirates lost. Okay, and it seemed that from that point on that the Pirates kind of lost the fire that we've seen out of them the last few seasons that carried them into the playoffs by having a strong September. We had a very weak September.
Not as excuses with you.
They're not excuses. Those are facts. I mean, nobody's made any excuses. These are the facts of why this season was. Now, what are the Pirates going to do in the offseason? There are rumors that Andrew McCutchen will be shopped for potential trade. Is that disturbing news? Yes, in a way, because of how much Andrew McCutchen has meant to the city, to the franchise, and because we know what kind of caliber player that he is. But the Pirates need pitching help. The free agent market for starting pitchers is as thinnest that we've seen in years. I think the Pirates...
Did they give away a couple pitchers this year, a relief pitcher and a starting pitcher?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
And they picked up their closer for the next 3 years. Riverio, by the way, is a left-hander that throws a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And I am telling you right now, he will be leading the league in saves real soon. But the Pirates have the core of a really good team defensively, position-wise. What they've got to do is they've got to find a way to get healthy and stay healthy. Somebody, unfortunately, may have to get traded to get the pitching help they need. We know that next year, going into the season, it looks like our 1-2 are going to be Garrett Cole, a healthy Garrett Cole, and Jamison Taillon proved beyond a reasonable doubt that he is a major league pitcher. Tyler Glasnow, who everybody thought was ready for prime time, maybe not so much ready for prime time. He could be a factor in our starting rotation next year. Chad Kuhl, pitched okay. He had his ups, he had his downs. He may end up ultimately being our 5th starter. We need to bring in somebody quality. It'll be interesting to see
We need somebody after Cole and Tyler.
What Neil Huntington can do and what the cost of that's going to be. Subsequently, somebody may need to get traded, but it'll be an interesting offseason. So even though the Pirates disappointed us all this year, and myself as a season ticket holder, I had high hopes, and they were squashed. The future looks promising for the Pirates. They do have the core of a solid baseball team. They just need a few pieces. And it's up to the management to put those pieces in place.
Well, you already owe me one meal, and I'll make you a bet for another meal.
Gotcha.
Pirates ain't going to be over 500 next year.
Gotcha. And that's dinner, not lunch.
Wow, these two. Hey, if you don't gamble, don't start. Smoking Jim's a known gambler for years. I don't know how he does it. I know he had the Steelers when the Jets crushed him, so he lost another one of those houses.
When Philly crushed
Philly crushed us.
Yeah, I laid out for the Steelers that day.
Yeah, I can understand that. Those things happen.
Yeah,
Is that all you got there, Chip?
That's all I've got for this season. Tonight, the playoffs start. We've got Toronto and Baltimore Orioles in a 1-game play-in. Tomorrow night, we got the Mets and the Giants.
Yeah.
And
Smoking Jim's getting messages.
No, that was me.
That was you. Okay,
That was me.
Yeah. We'll see what Baumgartner does tomorrow.
Yeah, Baumgartner and Noah Syndergaard are going head-to-head. And
two great pitchers.
Frankie Liriano was stepped over for the start tonight against the Orioles.
And Liriano's been doing great.
No,
He got a new location and found his fastball.
Well, I wish him well. I will tell you this. The contributions that Frankie Liriano made to the Pittsburgh Pirates over the last 3 years cannot be denied, and I appreciate everything that he did for us. And, it was sad to see him go, but, that's...
He had to go.
It's the way the ball bounces, man.
Really?
It's Major League Baseball.
Had to.
Why?
He was throwing up walks like every inning.
Jim, he was terrible.
He ended up playing well, though, when he left.
Yeah.
Change of scenery does that all the time in baseball.
He found home plate. He found out where to put the ball.
Now, maybe the umpires in the American League have a different strike zone.
They do. Smoking Jim didn't know that. You're giving him too many details.
I know. He's going to have to look that up at his funkin' Wagnalls.
I don't know what he's going to look it up, but he's lost. Smoking Jim, where are you going this week? Anything going on?
Well, I'm going to go watch Aliquippa beat the brakes off of Clareton. Been waiting for this game for a long time. It'll be at Clareton High School Stadium. I'll be on Aliquippa's sideline. I'll be wearing my red and black, my favorite colors.
Wow.
And I can't wait. Clareton High School's been ducking Aliquippa as long as they've been ducking Norwin since Doug Plank put it to them in 1974.
No, wait a minute. They're ducking nobody, One played in 2A, one played in 1A. They were not even in the same divisions.
Well, they're both 1A teams, and you can play in
Where
first
do you
game
get
of
the
season.
facts?
Aliquippa's a 1A team, but they play up
Okay.
to 2A and this year 3A. And Clareton could have played up like Aliquippa does, but they chose to play the Avellas of the world, who one year I watched their game. Avella got 13 players off the bus. They drove a minivan to Clareton, and Clareton scored about 80 points in the first half.
That's convenient.
Clareton,
They could get them all in one little bus.
When Duquesne High School closed, which was a single-A school that was a rivalry at Clareton, that opened the door for them to win about 7 championships. Aliquippa now is not one of Aliquippa's greater teams, but they'll be good enough to destroy the Bears at Clareton, and I can't wait.
You're rather outspoken
I don't
on
think
this.
Clareton deserved to break Braddock's 55-game winning streak record by playing, set-up games for all those years.
So on a different note, and this is a personal note, Fred, just between you and I, and our listening audience.
They're watching.
How long do you think it's going to take Terry Smith to take Franklin's job at Penn State?
Well, I thought Franklin did a good job. You know, I thought Franklin did a pretty good job getting the players off the field when that arrogant kicker got blasted. He's going around making tackles. Did you see the game? Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Their kicker wears
State.
99. He runs down the field. He makes tackles. And he got in a fight with this linebacker earlier in the game. And he kicked off, and it was at the 25-yard line, and this linebacker leveled him. And everybody got mad. The linebacker got kicked out of the game. He's probably going to miss the next game. Hey, you running down making tackles on kickoff.
You're wearing pads and a helmet, right?
And he's 270 pounds, the kicker.
Yeah, wait, so he's wearing pads and a helmet. Wait,
yeah, he does.
Wait, so he's wearing pads and a helmet, and he's playing actively in the game, and he got flattened.
Yeah. And there's been games where this kicker, this one time, he leveled a guy on the sideline.
Before.
Yeah, he's celebrating this, that, and the other thing, and now, like I said, he gets it's a little different. It's a little different when Bambi got the rifle.
Yeah, what goes around comes around, right?
Bambi got the rifle. Well, you're not a hunter.
But a lot of my friends are great white hunters.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even understand.
They go after bison. They give me a lot of bison. They go to big game, deer, bear, and all that.
Elk and moose.
All that, man.
You don't even eat that stuff.
Hey, man.
Yeah, Jim, if it don't come from Giant Eagle, you don't eat it.
I drink tea off of pines.
If it don't come from Giant Eagle, you're not eating it.
You got your bucket of chicken. That's all I could say. And whatever you do there, that's all I see. So you'll be at the Aliquippa game.
Yeah, I'll be at Clareton for the Aliquippa game on the Aliquippa sideline if anybody's looking for me.
Will they let you on that sideline?
Oh yeah, Sherman McBride's one
I'll
of
check
my
and
best
see if
friends.
Brentwood's got a home game this weekend. I might take a stroll up there.
Dorian Bowie, outstanding player for
Brentwood. Well, it's three
Look for
blocks
Bowie.
it's 3 blocks from my house.
Come
I think I might be able
Come on
to.
to Clareton. It's right. The stadium's right up above the projects, where they keep getting all those great athletes.
Smoking Jim,
It's not walking distance.
Easy to find.
It's not walking distance, Jim.
You're unbelievable.
I stay close to home.
The busiest man in media, doesn't care who he puts it on, they'll still welcome him back. Hey, I can't get Championship Chase. I haven't been able to see it. What's going on one of my favorite shows, Championship Chase?
You don't get Saturday Night Live?
I didn't stay up till 1:30 in the morning, so it wasn't on my DVR because it didn't show up.
Real quick, Championship Chase, horrible. It was a sickness. It was a
What?
Todd Miller called off sick.
Okay.
Brian Cook called off sick.
Okay.
Somebody else called off sick. There was no Tom Plungin, so D. Thompson had to run the show.
Oh, he's
and
capable.
in the A block we had Ida Simpson.
Nice.
In the A block, so yeah.
You still got the show done.
Still got the show done.
How's my girl Liz on the show?
I don't know why if you're out there, hire Liz to be your national co-host. She's outstanding. Outstanding.
I know. I like her commentary and her insights.
Very professional.
I know. I just haven't seen the show this year. I don't even know if you won the championship belt with picking teams.
Well, since you haven't seen the show?
No.
I'll say I won it.
Okay.
I'm the champ.
I don't believe it. That is no fact, just fiction. Well, thanks for watching our show. Thanks to Dave Cable and Devin Shea ran the whole studio. Cameras were unassisted. He set it all up. Just had a great night here. Next week will be our 5th-year anniversary of doing our shows. October 11th, 2011 we started. And I got to say goodnight and stay Joey strong.